Hi and welcome back. Today I have 3 mini art journal pages for you and I'm going to play with products by Davenport. For my pages today I will be working with her new stamps. This is a new collection and I will be using some of them so you can see them in action. I like that they have a good size, which means that they are perfect both for cards but as focal points on art journals, especially on the mini journals that I like to make. So here is one that I have already prepared. I used thick watercolor pages and I have already prepared one of those using Art by Marilyn products that you have seen previously. I have so much fun playing on these mini journals, so I'm going to make a new one, but in this one I will be playing with mediums, colors and products from the Jane Davenport line, which are not new at the market, but they are new to me. Before I start, let's take a look at the new stamps, and I want you to see that the size is perfect for the mini journal that I'm working on. So this is going to make a perfect focal point for this size of journal as well as for cards. The first stamp set is called Walk with Courage. Here is a Mermaid one in Jane's whimsical style. This stamp set is called Glorious Mermaid, and I love the 3 lines underneath. These are supposed to be waves, but they can make absolutely perfect borders as well for your journals. Now all these 3 wave lines are connected. They are actually one stamp, but you will see that in the video I'm going to cut it out so that I can use it separately. This is the queen of everything. It gives you a face. You can create your own hair for her. There is even a crown, a mirror, a banner, and a sentiment. The next one is called Beautiful Dreamer. She is just adorable and you can dress her up. There is a tutu for her, there are a couple of little crowns, and you even get ballet slippers. And of course you can draw on top of her and give her your own clothes. Again, here are the famous whimsical mermaids by Jane Davenport. This is called Singing Mermaid. And finally, here is another set with girls. This is called Fluent Fantastic. It gives you this lovely girl that I will be working with today. So now pause the video, go grab your coffee, a cup of tea or whatever you like, and let's start making pages. For my backgrounds today, I'm going to use these markers. These are the Mermaid markers. There are 12 in the box and they work as watercolor. You can use them directly with the brush. You can mix them up with water for a less concentrated look and more faded one. You need to take out that ring and push a little bit for the ink to flow and then just dispose this ring. I'm going to mix these markers and play with them with color to create my backgrounds. As you can see, I keep my pages together with an elastic and there is a fold on each one of those pages. And I get a lot of questions on what type of elastic I'm using. This is just recycled from a disposable mask. We all have plenty of them now, unfortunately, so why not reuse them in some way? So when I come home, instead of throwing them away, I just leave them at the sun in the yard for a day, and then the next day I take out the elastics and keep them in a drawer. I think they are perfect, nice and soft, since they are made for ears, so they are perfect for paper as well. I'm going to start by spraying water on my watercolor paper and you can see how shiny it is, nice and wet. And now I'm going to apply a couple of colors. Here I'm blending Pirate Gold with Starfish and I absolutely love the names on these markers. Since my paper is already wet, you can see that those 2 colors react with each other, they bloom on one another, and I'm going to help that mixing even more by adding even more water. You can use a brush over them to help them blend even better. And I'm going to repeat the same process every time using a couple of markers. This is Byron Bay and this is Seaweed. Now I have way more water on my page this time. I can lift the page if I want to and allow the blending this way instead of using a brush. Make sure to follow your color theory so that you will not end up with matte. Just use 2 colors that they go together and you will have beautiful backgrounds in no time. Now here are how my pages look, and on the outside I don't do anything. I like to keep it as it is and I will decorate it at the end. Of course I can add even more pages if I want to. I'm going to start by stamping the first girl for my page, and I'm using one from the Walk with Courage stamp set. I'm stamping that on watercolor paper, and I'm going to play with new mediums to me. Playing with new coloring mediums always brings me so much joy, and I had lots of fun playing today. For coloring my girl today, I'm going to work with AquaPastels. This is the first time I'm playing with them. You can color with them directly on your paper, just like that, and I'm doing a very quick swatch there so you can see the colors and I can see the colors, since I told you this is the first time I'm playing with them. They come in a lovely tin, so this is a great storage, and I absolutely love the artwork at the front. There are 12 different colors inside, and they are activated with water, so you can easily mix them up. I'm going to use a brush here and just activate them really quickly so we can see how they are going to end up looking if you blend them with water. There are so many different ways that you can color a stamped image, but definitely you need something that is not going to cover up the art lines. So this is like watercolor, which means it's going to be transparent once laid on top of your image, and you are not going to lose the black lines. I'm going to play with them today. And since I am planning to cut out the image, I don't care if I go outside of the lines. However, the tip is quite small, so I can easily stay inside. I'm going to blend out everything with my watercolor brush. And to tell you the truth, this doesn't have water inside. I just dip that into my water bowl just next to me. This is really easy to blend, and you can even lift color so you can easily create highlights, which is something that I'm doing here. And I'm just wiping the excess color on my fingers. Now I'm in love with a light blue color in the set. I absolutely love blues. That's why I'm going to give her a blue dress. I am going to start with a lighter one. I'm not going to apply color all over her dress so that I can have some lighter and darker areas. When you are using the AquaPastels, make sure that you don't press too hard when you apply the first layer of color. This way you will be able to easily move it and blend it out. You see, I don't get any harsh lines here, and everything is blended out beautifully. And if you want, you can even directly pick up color from the tip to add some shading here and there. Now here I grab the darker blue, and I'm going to add some shading on the right side, just to help that dress look more dimensional and not too flat. She's also gonna have blue shoes because she is matchy-matchy. And for her hair, I decided to go with that pink purple one because why not? It's your page and you can use whatever color you like. Again, I'm going to blend it out with water. And since today I'm playing with many different mediums by Jane's line, I'm going to bring in this tin. These are DramaSticks. There are 6 colors in the kit, and you can see that the colors are perfect for drawing faces. Now these are pastels, they don't react with water, but you can layer them, they are opaque, and you can layer them on top of other mediums. They're not going to blend at all with them. There is a sharpener that comes with the kit, so you get lovely sharpened edges in this pencil. And look how fun you can smudge them with your fingers, which means that you can create easily highlighted areas. I'm not going to use them too much today, but I absolutely love them and I will come back to them. I'm just going to add some color on her lips. Now finally I'm going to use my scissors to fuzzy cut her. I know that this image can be quite tricky since she has so thin legs and hands, but I don't really mind fuzzy cutting and I prefer coloring my images completely separately and then cut them out and stick them on my pages. If you're not a fan of this technique, you can always just stamp the image directly on your page and color it there. And now here is my favorite find from all the Jane Davenport products. This is a set of 10 different markers and they have all types of nibs. The best part about them is that they are waterproof, which means that they're not going to move no matter what you do on top of them. They're fade proof, they are fast drying, which is perfect for not smudging anything while you work, and of course they are non-toxic. I like the fact that you get all the way from micron super teeny tiny inks to chisel tips and even brushes. I think they are a great set for journaling and I'm going to treasure that, and I will be working with it again and again. So just to test them out, I am applying water on top of them. This is soaked with water, and I'm going to rub my finger and see if I can move them. And nothing is moving except from my dirty fingers that leave some color there. So to move on with my page, I'm going to rub one of the markers all around the edges to get rid of that white core, since this is going to cover up any mistakes I did while cutting, and it's going to look as if I did the perfect fuzzy cutting, which certainly isn't. Now from this stamp set I'm going to peel off the waves, and I just want to use the larger one, so I'm just going to cut it out with my fingers. Don't worry, it didn't scream. I'm going to use a big stamping block, and I'm going to stamp all around the page with black archival ink, and this is going to provide a lovely border that I'm going to color in with white. Now these are paint pens. They come in black and white in the set, and you get a fine tip and a thicker tip. These are paint inside, which means that they are going to be waterproof, and I'm going to use the thicker one to color in all the borders. Today I am exploring all these new products with you as I'm playing with them, and I know that I am privileged enough, since this is my job, to get access to many new mediums for free, since the companies sent them to me, but hopefully by playing with them and since you can see them in action, you can decide if there is something for you. I am going to add some extra touches for the background so that it doesn't look so plain. I'm using a very similar ink, this is archival ink, and I'm going to do some stamping. I want to keep that background subtle, but I want to have some visual texture there. And one of my favorite things to do that is to just stamp with a text stamp, which is really versatile and it matches pretty much any type of themed page. And here is another one of my go-to techniques. I like to add splashes. This time I'm going with white. I need to make sure that all those splashes are completely dry, and then I can go ahead and stick my girl on top. For that I used my Nuvo Deluxe white glue, but of course you can use any type of glue or glue stick. I'm going to use the quote from the same stamp set that says "Walk with courage", and I'm stamping that with black archival ink. I'm also using the fine white paint pen to add some highlights here and there. I'm not being neat, I'm being very sketchy and artistic. Nothing has to be perfect. Remember, this is just an art journal page, and actually the more imperfect it is, the better it's going to look. Now I wanted to add something extra on my page, and I have this package of 4 washi tape pages. So these are sticky, they have art by Davenport, and I'm just going to use my scissors to cut out pieces from this one and stack them on my page. I always like first to play around a little bit and decide on their placement, and then I'm going to peel off the backing and stick them down. Remember, this is washi tape, so it is quite forgiving. You can easily peel it off and replace it. And also, as you peel off the backing, you will see that it gets kind of transparent, so the colors blend nicely with the rest of the page. Notice how they don't stand out, however they do add something extra on the background. Here are some close-up photos on the first page for today, where you can see that I did add 3 more words: brave, fearless and free. And I did add some sketchy lines around the 3 words and the washi tapes. For my next page, I'm going to play with this lovely girl. I did stamp that with black ink, and now loosely I am drawing her hair. I am using a pencil, so if I need to, I can always erase the lines, and once I'm happy with the outline, then I can go over them with my finishing line pens. I am trying to find a pen that matches the thickness of the rest of the lines, and if you notice, some lines are even thinner, so I'm going to grab a thinner one and just draw some loose lines there. So my focal point is ready. Now all I need to do is to color her. For that I'm going to give her some really vibrant hair with my Mermaid markers. So first I am adding a little bit of water so that I can do some easy blending. Then I'm going to cover up the whole hair with the orange one, and this is actually called Pirate's Gold. And then I'm going to bring in Starfish, probably my favorite from the whole set, and you will see how nicely these colors are going to blend, and I will end up having some highlights and some darker areas. For coloring her body, again, just like in the previous image, I used my aqua colors, so I'm going to put on some music and let you see how I colored her, and I'm going to cut you back once I cut her out. And so my girl now is ready to go. I'm going to place her on different colored backgrounds, and I think that she stands out against that green one better than the rest of them. So again, I'm going to repeat my favorite go-to methods. I'm going to stamp some text at the background using ink that is similar to the background color for a subtle look. Then I'm going to add my white splashes. I'm going to heat set it, making sure that all the splashes are completely dry. And then with one of my markers, I'm going to draw some lines all around, very loosely and wavy, to create a border. I'm going to fill it in with the white paint pen. And I'm going to stick my girl on top again by using Nuvo Deluxe glue at the back. I absolutely love how her hair stands out against that green background. I think she looks just stunning. In the same stamp set as the girl, there is this quote that says "Speak fluent, fantastic," which I'm going to stamp on the side using black archival ink, and then there is this circle of scribbled lines which I'm going to align around the sentiment. While I was coloring my girl, I did add some highlights with a white crayon, but I want to exaggerate that. So I'm using my white paint pen to add some highlights that I always like to do as a finishing touch. As a finishing touch, I did add 3 more words: be fabulous, be bold, be strong, that I like to print out on my label maker. And let's move on to the third page and last one for today. For this one I stamped the mermaid, really whimsical, with a very big tail. I am going to work on the background first, and I absolutely love how this background turned out. It looks as if there are rays of sun coming down the ocean. So just to add something extra on this page, I am using the washi tape papers, and I'm cutting out those, I believe these are supposed to be corals, I guess. As I cut them out, I leave a little bit of border. This is blue, and when I peel off the backing, it actually turns out semi-transparent, so it's going to blend nicely with the background, and it's not going to be that noticeable. This is a stamp set that comes with all the waves. I'm going to combine them on my stamping block, and I did some stamping at the background with dark blue ink, and now I'm sticking down the washi tape. I'm just peeling it off and sticking it down. On this background, I didn't do any splashes. However, I'm using my white gel pen and I'm adding some highlights on those waves. I am going to add some highlights on the corals as well. This is going to help them pop even more. And I'm also going to draw some circles here and there. They are going to look as bubbles. Now, with a super fine pen, I'm going to draw some lines on the corals. Everything else is going to have lines, like for example my focal point, black lines, so I want everything to match as if they are part of the same image. That's why I'm adding some sketchy lines. Nothing has to be perfect, I'm not going everywhere, but the black lines are there now. To color her again, I used my AquaPastels just like I did previously, applying the color, and then with my water brush I'm going to blend out everything. And now is the difficult part of fuzzy cutting, but trust me, I'm not going to go all around that loop. I'm going to make her tail smaller. This way I don't have to fuzzy cut all around, and trust me, even I, with my mad fuzzy cutting skills, didn't want to do that. So I'm going to cut out the tail separately, and then I can stick them together on the page, and no one will ever know that it was not supposed to be like that. So again, I'm using my white Nouveau Deluxe glue. I'm going to piece those two together, and I think it looks just fine. Now here I'm using again my crayons. These are smudgeable. You can use your finger to smudge them out. I'm just adding some highlights on the corals with a pink one, which is going to help them pop even more. I'm adding color on my mermaid, and I think that these little details really make a difference. Adding highlights and shadows here and there is going to bring your images into life. Again, I'm going back with my paint pen, and I'm going to add even more highlights here and there. As a quote, I went with be a mermaid and make waves. I did print that out on my label maker, but of course you can print it out with your printer. Here are some close-up photos on the last page for today. And after all these photos, you can see a quick flip through the new mini art journal that I just created today. If you want to see how I'm going to play on the next of the pages, let me know in the comments below. You will find links to everything I used down below in the description area. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired, and I'll see you all next time.